Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a little sit down as promised to talk about the next half of my pregnancy. So for those that follow me, I have filmed the first half of my pregnancy and I have the video linked down below so you can watch that to know more about how my first 4.5 months of pregnancy went. Today I'll be sitting down with you guys to talk about how the next 4.5 months of my pregnancy went. So I will be telling you some tips and tricks, what went on, and everything all the way up to my labor story. Alright, so towards the end of my second trimester, I was still having the time of my life. I felt super energetic. I felt like I wasn't putting on that much weight. Like, as in I didn't physically feel bigger. I was still working out every day, working on my squats, working on my pelvic floors, really preparing for labor. And I really took the second half of my pregnancy to focus on preparing for labor because anything could happen when you're pregnant. You could, there's premature babies, there's babies that come too early, there's like anything can really happen. So I really focused on and I was going for natural delivery, it wasn't C-section. So the second half of my pregnancy, I really did everything I could to walk a lot, walk every day, do my pelvic floor exercises, do my squats, like really prepare my down there for delivery. So that is like the biggest tip that I would give you because you just really don't know with pregnancies, like anything can happen. You can hope for a vaginal and then suddenly it's like emergency C-sec. You can even have an inducement. Okay, I don't know, you can even you can even plan to induce, but then the baby could just be like, yeah, no, I want to come earlier. So the baby comes earlier than the date that you wanted. And it's just, you just never know. So my biggest tip for you is to really focus on delivery and preparing for the baby in your second trimester. I mean, your second half of your pregnancy. Come to the third trimester, I started feeling tired again. I started getting horrible backaches. Like my baby's back, like spine, was basically against my spine, so it was like putting so much pressure. It was like insane amount of pain. I couldn't even, like, every night I just needed my husband to massage. I used something called Perskindol, which I'll insert right here. It's like a gel, I guess, like a cream, and I just use that to like rub my back, and it really helped me. So I guess that is something that I would suggest some of you to get if you do get really bad back pains. Otherwise, I also use ice packs. I don't know why I keep pointing here, but basically because I know something's gonna be there. Peeing so much more, and you really start to have no control in your third trimester. By month 8, by month 8, I was literally like, anytime I would sneeze, a little bit of pee would come out. Anytime I would like laugh too hard, a little would come out. Like, you just have no control. So I would also suggest using some day pads, or like just panty liners, just something to like, so that you don't have to like carry an extra pair of underwear all the time. Comparing my first half of my pregnancy to my second half of pregnancy, I honestly would say that like they've both been pretty pleasant. I honestly do believe that I've had a pretty positive pregnancy. I say that because I didn't puke an insane amount like I told you guys in my first video. I didn't bleed. I didn't have any crazy scares. I didn't have any. The biggest problem I had was my anemia, which I spoke about. But that was handled so well by my gyno. So to touch a little bit on that, I was diagnosed with anemia in pregnancy. In like my 6th month, we were doing blood tests and everything, and we were finding that my hemoglobin was really, really low, on top of my iron stores in my liver. So my hemoglobin was low and my iron was low, so it wasn't creating enough hemoglobin, so not enough blood was going through my body. I didn't have enough blood basically, and it's a huge problem because obviously when you give birth, you like lose so much blood, and you continue to lose blood after pregnancy. So it really was something that we had to monitor. like I said, we were looking at iron transfusion, blood transfusions, like all kinds of things and ways to get my hemoglobin level back up to make sure that I was at my best by the time I hit the 9 months. So a hefty part of my third trimester was honestly dealing with anemia. How I dealt with it was I tripled up doses, okay? So imagine how many pills and supplements I was taking in my third trimester. I started taking iron, I started taking vitamin B, vitamin D, wow, I have mom brain now. Like, it's so crazy. I don't even know what I have, and I look so tired. Basically, I've given birth, and I'm talking to you about my second trimester after I've given birth, so that's why I'm like so tired and have mom brain. Well, it's like B or D, you know, what's the difference? Boob, dick, it's the same. I took the same supplements. I took my prenatals, I took my calcium, my vitamin C, my probiotics. I took everything, but everything had to be tripled because all the nutrients in my body was just like lowering and sinking. So yeah, my third trimester honestly was heavy on dealing with anemia, and it was a tough time mentally, but in terms of my pregnancy, it didn't do much to my pregnancy. I didn't like become a certain way. None of that. Like, I didn't like puke more or like bleed, or I didn't have any of that. It was just mentally, because you know, you had to be strong, and there's a lot of there's a lot of consequences that also come with anemia and pregnancy. You could have premature birth, you could have your baby could be too small, you know, like there was just all these different things that were going through my head that I had to deal with, and there was all these questions that needed answering, like if it came down to saving the baby's life or saving my life, who do you save, you know? So it's like we, like my husband and I, but I really needed to prepare myself mentally, and I really took the third trimester to do that. You are a new mom, first time mom, do whatever it takes to soothe yourself and to like just prepare mentally just as much as you're prepared physically, because motherhood, honestly, now that I'm in it, it's a lot to do with mental as well. You just need to be very, very strong mentally. So I'm really glad that I had that problem in my third trimester, because it pushed me to care more about my mental health for the baby and for like just to be at my strongest basically. And because I did that, I feel like I had a very positive labor journey. I had an easy end to my pregnancy. I had a good start to motherhood. So yeah, I just think like focusing on yourself is really important towards the end of your pregnancy. And I know, you know, you just start getting like really nervous, like, oh my god, like especially your first time, like, oh my god, the baby's coming, like what if this, what if that? And like a lot of moms are gonna start commenting at you, throwing things at you, and I think you kind of just need to block all that out. That's what I did, at least. You kind of just need to block all that out and be like, no, I need to just what I believe is right, what I, you know, it's all about you, honestly, because you are the mother, you are housing and holding that child, you know what's best for your body and your child. So that is honestly like another advice I can give you. Like, don't be drowned and don't feel overwhelmed. Like, it's normal to feel overwhelmed, but don't take every comment and everything into consideration. Like, do you do you. Like, this is your pregnancy, this is your story, this is your baby. I started shopping for my baby at 33 weeks. I gave birth at 38, so that's a good like 5 weeks before, which I think is a good timeline. You don't want to get things too early in your pregnancy, because again, you never know. I also packed my hospital bag literally only 3 weeks before I actually gave birth. I really wanted to prepare everything and not to like rush. So that's what I mean. Like, I really organized and planned in my third trimester. So yeah, I bought everything for the baby. I packed my hospital bag. Everything like was settled in November, and I gave birth in December. So it was just good timing. It was good organization. As a whole, I would say I really had a good pregnancy. I didn't really have water retention. Like, I didn't have swollen feet, swollen fingers. I didn't put on an immense amount of weight. I only put on, let me do the math, let me get my calculator, my handy dandy calculator, because I'm really bad at math. I put on 13 kg in total of my whole pregnancy, which I think is normal. I think, but I did stop putting on weight towards the end, and that's again also normal. And I had to actually put on more weight because my baby was small at the time and I was not putting on weight. So towards the end of my pregnancy, the last 3 weeks, I actually was told to eat whatever I wanted, all the fatty foods, just eat and eat and eat, and that's all I did. I literally ate every hour. I ate all the fatty foods, I ate everything just to put on weight so my baby would put on weight, which was really fun. So yeah, I think I had a really positive pregnancy. Would I do it again so quickly? I don't know. Because it, you know, the anemia kind of scared me a bit, and my body does need to recover from like labor and all of that, and just to make sure all my nutrients are normalizing, my blood pressure, because obviously during labor my blood pressure did go down, it lowered, and it freaked me out. So I don't know, even though it was a really positive experience for me, it wasn't like a nightmare. Like, some of my friends had nightmare pregnancies and I was so scared I would have that, but alhamdulillah, it was so positive. The biggest thing I have to say though, a lot of people would look at me, I was 9 months pregnant, ready to pop, and they were like, oh my god, you're so small, you're so small. Like, yeah, it's a good thing that I'm not like a whale, like I'm not a balloon. Like, I was happy about that, but like I just feel like you shouldn't comment on someone's bump. Like, just as a person, I don't comment on people's bumps. I don't say like, oh my god, you're so big, or oh my god, you're so small, because it's like, you just don't know like if that could hurt the person, the mom. Like, the biggest thing to have anemia in pregnancy is your baby coming out really small. So obviously when everyone saw me 9 months pregnant, ready to pop, they were like, oh my god, you're so small, you're so small. It was eating me alive, because I was like, oh my god, ya Allah, please, like, let my baby be of size, let my baby be okay. So it just scared me, you know. And these are the things that like you don't know about someone who's pregnant. So it's like, I just feel like if you are a new mom, or if you're any women watching this, try not to comment on people's bumps, because you don't know what they're going through and you don't know how they're going to feel by you saying that. Like, I'm happy. I know people think, like, people don't have bad intentions and people think it's good to be small when you're pregnant, which it is. I am happy that I was small in my pregnancy, but again, it would just scare me, and it would just like, things would just pop up in my head. So yeah, so to wrap it all up, I got to eat whatever I want in this pregnancy. I barely puked. I was nauseous only in my first trimester, and the last 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks before I gave birth, I started getting really nauseous again. Anemia in pregnancy, bad back pains, no weird cravings. I had no weird cravings. I wasn't craving like pickles or some weird shit like that. Sleepless nights towards the end of my pregnancy. Yeah, I do remember that. I just couldn't sleep at all. But again, it's the anxiety. It's all the anxiety and anxiousness of like the baby coming, which is why, like I said, I focus on my mental health a lot in my 3rd trimester. And yeah, I just like, it was positive. I'm thankful for the pregnancy journey I had. If you guys want to know anything else, please comment down below. Otherwise, like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I have a few cute and good content coming up for you guys, so I hope you stay tuned for all of that. And this mama is tired. It is 10:30 p.m. but this mama needs to go feed her baby and get some rest. So bye guys.